What's happening, everyone, and welcome to the More Life Frequency podcast. If you're looking to infuse your events with an epic party vibe, or you're getting started in the entertainment industry, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Isaac, and after a decade of rocking dance floors from Australia to Greece, I'm here to share with you the stories and strategies from my journey in the entertainment business. Now, today, we're in for a very special episode. Welcome to episode 5, and thank you so much for joining us. This is our first episode with a guest on the podcast. Yay. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome, Jake.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Very good, not a problem. So Jake is actually a videographer, photographer. We've been working with him for a number of years now throughout a lot of our gigs from our artist project, and he's had the privilege of being in our presence and putting up with us.
Yeah, of course.
I love it. So, Jake, you've had a lot of experience in regards to events, so things like photography and videography for weddings and things like that.
Yeah.
So for our audience, I really wanted to delve into with this episode regarding utilizing your experience and seeing where they can learn from your expertise. So I guess the first question I would have, and where I want to lead this conversation, is what are some common misconceptions or maybe things people expect but it's not the actual reality when they're planning? They book you, so they book the videographer or photographer for the event. What are some things that people tend to overlook, or maybe something that they don't expect?
Yeah, for weddings specifically?
Weddings and or events. Let's start with weddings though.
Well, mainly with weddings. I guess people don't really know what to expect from a video. They just think that they need video, but they don't actually know why they need video, which is really interesting. I always have to explain what they get from me. So highlights or filming the wedding as a whole, so you can rewatch your whole ceremony or rewatch speeches and stuff like that. Because a lot of people will just put together a little highlights package, which is what most people want for today, or to show their friends and family. But 30, 40 years down the line, they're going to want to rewatch their ceremony or show their kids, grandpa's speech at their wedding, or someone embarrassed themselves. And so those longer documentaries are more regarded, but people don't think about that. But in terms of the wedding itself, people don't realize how much it can cost, and just the prices are just so insanely high these days. Specifically for venues and catering and food. As soon as you put the word wedding in front of everything, it just adds a zero to the price.
Should they hide the fact they're having a wedding?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. But you can cheap out on some things and save the budget. And I don't know, most people, they don't expect it to be as high as it is. And they get really shocked by that.
Okay.
Because they want to do everything, that's modern and classic.
Top notch.
Yeah.
And
they don't realize the price tag associated with that. And also you have to be hiring top vendors because it's your one day, right? So you don't want to cheap out.
Yeah.
So you want the best of the best, and they charge top dollar because they've seen it all. So they know how to work with you and to get the most out of your day.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I feel that, so continuing on what you said, do you find as a videographer, you say that things are expensive? Do people try to, I guess, skimp out or cheap out on
100%,
videography, photography?
100%,
Really?
Yeah. So even
without it, they've got nothing from the day though. It's it never happened, right?
Yeah.
If you haven't taken that photo or video.
Yeah. People always say my Uncle Jim has a camera and he can take photos, and
here he goes, Jimmo.
Yeah. Or someone's uncle, and I've had people before say, we've decided not to go with you because we're just going to get our uncle to do it. And I say, look, that's fine, but just be, check if they have done stuff like this before, because if, they could take nice photos at events or just portraiture, but weddings are a totally different beast. If they haven't done one before, don't even bother, because it's not worth risking not remembering and not having anything to show people for it.
Exactly.
And I don't know. I do always recommend to my couples to do the photography over the video because it's what you will show everyone. It's what you print out, put on the wall.
Okay, yeah.
Video can almost be not an afterthought, but book the photography in the venue, then look at everything else, and then come back to video afterwards.
Yeah.
Even I'm personally a little on the fence about if I would do video at my wedding, just because
Really?
I'm,
As a videographer, you had to hear first.
yeah,
Jeez.
only because I'm thinking of the bottom line. But I also
Okay.
know, like,
Meaning the price.
yeah, the price.
Okay, yeah.
So just because I'm more budget conscious.
Well, a lot of the
Yeah.
listeners are going to be budget
Yeah.
conscious too. So, like, speak to that, I guess,
Yeah.
as well.
And I also understand, like, I can film it myself. Like, I've got the equipment myself. I can just get someone to just press record on a camera. Like, and I know how to do what is important for me, which would just be capturing the ceremony in full and maybe the speeches in full. I don't really need the highlights. I mean, I might change my mind later down the line, but I've always been photography is more important than the video for weddings.
That's
specifically.
so interesting to hear.
Yeah, because I even recommend to people who are more budget conscious, just get like an iPhone or someone to set up a DSLR in the corner, and I'll kind of work with them to get a nice angle for them, knowing it's not going to be filmed on the world's best camera, but I can help them get something that's at least rewatchable for them.
Yeah,
Because for the most part, it's about capturing the moment rather than
Sorry, I was gonna,
reliving it.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I don't know. Personally, I don't know. I guess it depends on what my budget looks like when I get married
for
one
sure.
day.
Yeah, here we go.
Because I would like
Countdown is on, everyone.
I would like a video of it, but for me, there's more important things that I would prioritize.
Yeah,
And I think
that's so
every couple has different priorities. Like some people want an amazing dress or an amazing venue, or they're really focused on, having a certain type of DJ or a certain type of band, or having florists. Like I have some brides who really prioritize the floristry, and they spend most of their budget on the flowers, and it looks amazing. But not everyone is like that. Some people just go for the plastic flowers because it's not a huge priority.
Okay. Wow, really?
Yeah.
I personally love plastic flowers. You don't need to water them. You don't need to, no maintenance. And they look the same every day.
Yeah.
It's like as if you don't want to.
But they're good for your house and they're good for decorating the tables. But I think most brides prefer real flowers if they choose to have a bouquet.
Okay, yeah. Well, which is fair, right?
Yeah, and I do see a mixture of like real flowers and then fake plastic ones on the table, because sometimes the venues will actually provide them as just like basic decoration.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But, everyone's different. It's
Yeah,
just about different
100%.
priorities,
100%.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to go viral on TikTok, then video is very important, isn't it?
Yeah. And the content creation now too is pretty big for weddings.
As in, are you saying like post-production for the wedding, I guess, reels and stuff?
Well, some couples are hiring content creators on top of photo and video.
Oh, wow.
So someone specifically that films like just on their phone.
Yeah.
For like TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that, so that they don't have to worry about it, and none of their bridesmaids or groomsmen have to worry about it either. Some of them can be really good. Some of them do get in the way. It's a very new emerging sort of market.
Yeah.
But as social media is becoming more part of our everyday lives, it's important for them. And I don't know how I feel about it yet, to be honest, because some of them I've really liked working with. Some of them have been not so great to work with, like in the sense that you can be a good photographer, but you can be a bad wedding photographer, because if you can't cooperate
100% agree,
with like other vendors and you don't know what you're doing, like it's a totally different ball game. So I don't know, it's just interesting. Everything's changing with weddings now.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Even I was going to say, I went to a wedding in Bali, a friend's wedding, and they flew a content creator just filming on her iPhone to the wedding, specifically just to get, that iPhone footage. That she had a bit of a trend in mind as well in regards to like the bucks, and she'd filmed them at the beginning of the wedding versus after. I still haven't watched that reel back.
I don't know if you want to.
I don't know either. But do you know what I mean? So do you find them like sort of hopping on trends as well?
Yeah. yeah, everyone's hopping on the trends. The one at the moment in terms of wedding photography is like the blurry running shots. So
Okay.
it's like an out of focus, looks like it's taken by someone in their first year of photography, but like it shows like just action and movement and stuff, and it looks really like if it's done well, it's really nice. But I guarantee you, within 5 or 10 years, you'll put that photo away and never look at it again, even though
Yeah,
it's what
yeah,
you'll
okay.
post first now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like trendy stuff that pops up all the time that people ask for, and we love getting them, but you need those classic timeless photos and shots because they're really the ones you're going to print out and show everyone. Put in your, in your wallet,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, stuff like that. So, um, yeah, I don't know. What else have I seen?
No, that's amazing. You mentioned the timeless photos and things like that.
Yeah.
So let's go and delve a bit more down that route. What, in your experience, is that timeless photo? Where is it taken? When's it taken? You know, speak to that a little bit.
So it's mostly just like the bride and groom together. So just holding hands with their bouquet in the middle, or your classic moments like your first kiss, walking down the aisle, coming into the reception, one shot from the first dance during like a particular moment if they've got a choreographed dance, maybe 1 or 2 shots in the morning, like looking out the window or just about to leave. It's interesting talking to people that had weddings 40 or 50 years ago who had a photographer versus what I do as a wedding photographer now. Because I speak to them and, they get maybe 30 or 40 photos across the whole day. And I do like between 700. I promise 700,
Oh, wow.
but I actually deliver closer to like 1,000 because I'm a big fan of over delivering and letting them choose what kind of goes out into the world.
100%. Yeah,
Some
yeah,
photographers try to cut it down so it's more curated, but I'm kind of against that. I think that the bride and groom should be the ones to decide what makes the final
100%.
cut, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Actually, I'm finding that not everyone shares the digital galleries with their entire guests and stuff. Only a few do. Most people just download the stuff that they like and then share it from there. So it doesn't have to be as curated. I think the more curated stuff is saved for albums and stuff. But yeah, just in terms of the more classic photos, things like flat lays. I love my veil shots.
What's a flat lay?
So a flat lay is like, so you've got your shoes, you've got your rings and your jewelry, your perfume, your cologne.
Oh, okay.
So it's like all the stuff you're
All
wearing.
the bling bling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just sort of down flat somewhere and then a photo looking straight down.
Okay.
So it just kind of captures some details of the day. Most people really love them. Some people say don't bother about them, but then I do it anyway, and they don't realize how important that is.
Yeah.
Same thing with ring shots. My thing at the moment is to take nice photos of people's rings. I've been doing it for a few years, and it's kind of part of my brand, I guess, to take nice photos of the rings. And no one asks for it, but I do it, and they say that that's one of the shots that they're glad that I captured. And people watching me do it say they regret not getting those shots at the wedding.
Yeah,
because
wow.
it's a bit like you can't really take a nice shot of your rings with just your phone, right?
Yeah, no,
it takes
no,
a very
that camera lens really enhances.
Yeah, you need a
the
certain type
texture.
of camera lens called a macro lens, so you can get really close.
Okay.
Or depending what type of photograph you're trying to do, but to get really close to something small, yeah, you need something unique that even a hobbyist photographer might not have unless they're really into their hobby, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Just the classic shots are changing over time too, but they're not really evolving. Just more stuff is getting added on as expected shots.
People want more content.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
More and more and more.
And, but I'm a fan of that. And I really like it when couples give me examples or like a Pinterest board or something.
Okay.
Because then I can sort of see inside their head what they want. Because it's very hard to translate what's in someone's head, right?
Definitely.
Right? So
Yeah.
by them just picking the stuff that they like and sharing it with me, I can get a bit of a view of what they like. But yeah, I don't know. Wedding photography has changed a lot over the years.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's the same with like, I guess, entertainment and the whole sort of sphere of events in and of itself. I feel like it's gotten so much, like there's so much of a focus now. It's very digital heavy, you know, and people really want to capture as much as they can. Whereas I find it even at other sorts of events, not just weddings, that like people tend to focus on capturing a moment while they're there instead of actually experiencing and enjoying it.
The phones are a big problem. Like even all the celebrants say, "Hey, put your phone away," but there's always at least 20 or 30 people who think this doesn't apply to me. I'm going to do it anyway. I think the ones that work the best is when a celebrant says, "Okay, here's your chance. Take your photo right now." And then I get out of the way. Everyone jumps in the middle.
Oh wow!
With their phone.
You're kidding.
And then they're more likely to put it away.
Even though you're the photographer, and you have the mad camera. They still want,
because they need it right now, and it's not always shown as well. Like it's that proof of concept.
Proof of I was there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if it's, the camera has to eat first, so to say. But yeah, people just need to prove to other people what they've done. But not living in the moment is a big problem. Even at DJ sets, like sometimes
100%.
that's why, like,
say that again.
Yeah, like it's so frustrating. Like you go to some, like even watching a live band, and everyone is just hiding behind their phone. I can't stand it.
Bro, like
it's frustrating because as a photographer myself, I don't even take out my phone, or even if I have my professional camera, because you have to understand. Sometimes it's more important just to live in the moment and not live. No one is going to watch that iPhone footage again.
Yeah,
so just put it down.
I agree 100%. And like, you speaking to the DJ sets and things as well. You came on tour with us for our artist project, and like one of the things I found, not all the gigs, but some of them, especially now, so much more phone heavy. And like my business partner and I, we were going, Dan, I was looking at some footage with him from 2016 when we were playing in Greece, and it was a madhouse, and there was not one phone in the air.
It is crazy. Like, it's a changing of the times, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like you do have to adapt though. Like I feel like you can't really like force it not to happen, but like managing it, like you said with the celebrants, like now's your chance, and all of them go, "Oh my god!" Like, you know what I mean?
It's like that one moment though. For weddings specifically, like I've even thought of the idea of, I don't know if you've ever been to like a press event, but if you go to a press event like a movie, they give you like a little velvet bag that you have to put your phone in, and then you will get it back afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you check it in like a coat. So so they know that you're not going to record anything before it's published. Do something like that at a wedding. Get everyone to hand their phone in, and then you get it back afterwards.
I love that.
Just for the ceremony. The rest of the day doesn't matter. Bit hard to do for a live set, but I think some clubs do that. Like some top end clubs in America do that.
There are some events which definitely do that.
Especially if you're releasing new music. Like it's common for like comedians or DJs, if they're playing something new, sometimes they might say, let's just put our phones down, I'm going to play something new for you guys.
Yeah.
You do
it's
that.
Definitely a unique. Yeah, 100%. Well, the event that we threw right here, that boiler room style event, no phones at that one, like on purpose. I feel like even, again, like veering it back to even things like for weddings and stuff, I think there's something special to say about like, just putting your phone away for a bit, especially have a photographer, videographer like Jake. Jake's amazing. Like you don't want. You've got a pro, like, in my opinion.
But people need it straight away. Like, it's so common, even during family photos. I'll take one on my camera, but then 3 people want me to take it on their phone as well, so they have it right now.
Insane.
And I find it's better to just work with them rather than to push them away. So I just grab the phone straight away.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang. Because otherwise it takes like, each person will take a minute to like take their photo. So I just grab it off them, to do a better job than them, hand it back to them, and then I can just get through it quicker and quicker, because then it just delays the wedding day as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, man, what are you going to do, eh?
Yeah, I know.
100%, what are you going to do? Well, now let's dive into something a little bit different. not really different, but continuing on the conversation in regards to, let's say, yeah, a wedding event and stuff. Is there like a time of year you'd recommend, or is there a time of day you would recommend?
Yeah.
Again, you mentioned like those sort of golden moment photos. Some people, especially myself being European, we like to have those evening weddings, and like weddings that go to like 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
But speak to people who have those daytime weddings and those evening weddings. What's the go? How can they go about capturing the great moment? Like, is golden hour a thing? Is
100%.
do you know what I mean?
But it first comes down to what their priority is. Like, the one thing about your day that you can't change is the time of your sunset. So once you have the venue that you want, you have to then look at the sunset time. But just taking a step back, like, just think about what point in the year do you get married. People have different preferences. A lot of people avoid winter, not just because it's cold, but because it's more likely to rain. So then you have to kind of go with plan B more times than not.
Okay.
So it's just better weather, like during autumn, spring, and summer. But then some venues charge more during like those peak seasons. I'd say most people avoid the peak of the heat during summer, and then it's usually those shoulder, like just before and afterwards. A lot of people get married. I personally prefer winter, and I'm seeing more people jump onto winter weddings because venues will give a little bit of a discount because it is traditionally not booked, because people want those. It's their one day of their life. They get married. They want the best time of year. So people avoid the winter weddings.
Yeah.
But more people are doing it to save money now. And I love it because if their wedding is in the city, for example, and then we go take photos somewhere, there's less competition to go near the Harbour Bridge or the Opera House or something. And there's not like 6 other brides trying to take photos there. It's a bit cooler. So especially the boys in their suits, they aren't sweating so much.
Oh, man.
Which is nice.
Tell me.
Yeah. And like even the girls sometimes, like, and there's a lot of walking going on too on a wedding day.
Yeah.
So you don't want something that's too hot.
They get their steps in then.
Yeah. And your guests too, everyone dressing up. Like the heat can really drain the energy out of your day.
That's so
you have
true.
to think about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is tough. I prefer probably, I mean, I don't really see a problem with winter. It's just the rain factor for me, which is more about the venue for me, actually. I would absolutely make sure to book a venue that has a good wet weather option.
Yeah.
Because there are
100%.
some weddings that, like, for example, there's Panorama House up sort of the top of, the top of Wollongong, south of Sydney, as you're driving from Sydney to Wollongong. It's right on the edge of the cliff.
Where. Yeah.
It's a really beautiful view, and it's the one draw card is the view, right? But if the weather's not good, like, you're totally stuffed. Like, and the other weather option is to like go inside. Like, it's not what you're paying for at all. You might as well have just gone to the community hall.
Yeah.
And that, like, and it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you know, you're not getting what you thought you would. So absolutely make sure you have a good wet weather option at your venue.
100%.
But time-wise, yeah, for the day itself, you have to think about your priority. I did one just a few days ago where the ceremony was at 4 o'clock, sunset was 5 p.m. So ceremony finishes at 4:30, family photos for that last sort of 20 minutes, 30 minutes. By the time we start taking the bridal party photos at 5 o'clock, the sun is already gone. So I've got like maybe 20 minutes of sort of soft light before it starts getting too dark for me to really do anything.
Oh, wow.
So we're a bit rushed. But their priority was the ceremony and the family photos, and the lighting was amazing.
Okay.
I generally will recommend you want to take photos during that 1 hour for golden hour. So working back from the sunset, I normally say if your sunset is at 5 o'clock, you want bridal party photos from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. You want at least half an hour for family photos, so 3:30. And then you work back, depending what kind of ceremony you're having, civil, if you're doing something like a full mass, whether you need 2 hours to something like 15 minutes, you're looking at like a 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock kind of start. And never underestimate the family photo time. That takes depending on the culture too. Like,
Oh, really?
it's a
That
big
becomes
difference.
a factor too.
Yeah. I always recommend having a photo list. So like you can kind of tick stuff off. Then mentally, I've got everything that I know is important. I can de-stress and I can just go and enjoy myself.
Yeah, massive.
But you end up having like, mums and aunties trying to throw together their own mixtures of photos and stuff like
you
that.
come here. Oh no, he's
Yeah.
just had a kid. He can come here too.
Yes. And there's always one guy who like goes, he goes 10 yards down the road for a beer and he just disappears.
Yeah, that'd be me.
Yeah. So it's very hard. Like you need more time. Half my job is just lassoing everyone together. I'm like a sheepdog just trying to get everyone together.
Yeah.
So at least half an hour, even slightly more, because people don't account for sort of when you walk down the aisle, everyone kind of congratulates you. Everyone wants to say hi. And that takes a long time as well. So you even want to give like 20, 30 minutes for that.
Yeah.
But the most important thing on a wedding day is to just give yourself more time. So
yeah, people.
I even recommend to book in what I call like buffer times. So plan to give yourself more time than what you need. So like
you want contingency, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're better off just sitting around having extra time for a drink or talking to friends or family than stressing and being late and traffic. You never know what's going to happen.
No, 100%, definitely.
I don't know. It's a lot of coordination and a lot of different people that need stuff to work on a wedding day.
Yeah, all the stars need to align.
Yeah, exactly.
Big time.
Yeah,
100%. I liked what you mentioned about the importance of the venue as well. So in the first few episodes of this podcast, I highlighted that as one of the big deciding factors, not just for a wedding, but also for other sorts of events, even if it's an engagement and things like that. Because oftentimes, like yielding it a bit to my area of expertise, which is the entertainment and DJ sort of side, a lot of people tend to book events which don't, like they want this massive, I guess, DJ setup or entertainment setup. It could even be for a band. It doesn't have to be for a DJ. But because of the certain venue itself, either how it's constructed or the architecture of it, maybe there's a restaurant downstairs and the function room is upstairs. Floors are made of hollow wood. You know what happens next to the people having dinner downstairs. They're not happy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, once you lock down that venue for a wedding or whatever it is, having that weather option, making sure that, it caters for the entertainment and what you actually want to have in regards to entertainment as well, whether that's a big DJ setup, catering it for the photos that you want to have taken as well.
So interesting.
Too,
I was talking to someone just yesterday about that. The wedding I shot on Friday was in Barrel, Centennial Vineyards, beautiful venue. Probably one of my top 5 actually, in terms of it just has everything I want, like a lot of nature, but a lot of kind of, well, you got your vineyards and you got the nice brick stonework and everything. But the inside where you have your reception itself can be quite dark. So you have to introduce your own lights in order to capture anything, like without pumping the ISO too much and it turning into just grain, really. So people don't think of that sometimes. But yeah, the venue is so important because it dictates how much decorations you need to bring. Because sometimes you can make it about the architecture itself. Transport.
That's true, actually.
Where is it? Like it could be way out of the way. People might need to book Airbnbs. Is it near the city? Does it have everything I need? Like, does it have space for, like the entertainment? Like, because depending on what kind of entertainment you have too, you need a larger amount of dedicated space that no one else can do.
Yeah.
Even things like power outlets too. Like there are some venues where the reception will be in like a marquee outside. And they don't always have PowerPoints, right? Which is crazy.
We have that on our rider. It's like something we need on our rider. This is something that we provide basically a venue or people who book us more for our headline stuff under the artist project. But PowerPoints is in that because of what you're saying now.
It's crazy. Like I've even had to introduce some things into my contract that I don't think I thought I would have ever had to. I have the legal right to keep my shoes on and I don't have to take them off. This is specifically 100% specifically because I do a lot of Asian cultures and they have tea ceremonies generally at the bride's father's place. And in Asian households, it's very accustomed to take your shoes off at the door. I've got no problem
Okay.
taking my shoes off, and most of the time I do, but they try to jam about 200 people into a house that can fit maybe 20 people comfortably.
Oh,
And so then I'm walking around and I get everyone stepping on my feet,
trodden
and
on.
I've just had my shoes my feet, sorry, just crushed. And then I also have to
Wow.
run in and out quite fast.
Yeah.
And if it's a little bit wet outside, I'm not going to go out in my socks, and I don't have time to put my shoes on.
For sure.
So it's just good to have those things in there to exercise your rights. I even have actually, funny, we're talking about changing dynamics, like compared to like 40 years ago. I have that the client understands and recognizes that I'm a human being and I need to rest from time to time.
Oh, wow.
You get
That you need to go to the bathroom and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
I need to go to the bathroom. I need to sit down and have a glass of water. Like, I'm booked for
Yes.
12 hours. It doesn't mean that I'm constantly on my feet, running around, getting absolutely everything for 12 hours. Like,
For sure. Yeah.
you know, I'm confident enough that I know when I can have a rest and when I need to be more active. And, yeah, I'm sure you're the same. You know, when you can sort of
100%.
run out of the room to go to the bathroom and let someone else kind of take over for a second,
Yeah.
or...
Bit hard for a headline show.
Yeah, I
but
know, right? Yeah,
I'm like, sorry, everybody, I just got to go. And
yeah, that's true. That's true.
But like for those longer sets, definitely. And I was going to ask you, actually, do you have a hospitality rider for when people book you?
So Australia is pretty good at this. When you book the venue, it'll include vendor meals. And so normally, maybe a month before the wedding day itself, the venue will actually ask, how many vendors have you got and how many vendor meals do you need?
Oh, wow.
Because it'll be included in their price, or they'll charge the couple like a expo dollars for, and it'll be usually cheaper.
Yeah.
But it is in my contract that I need to be fed. Usually I also say I need to be fed at the same time as the couple, because it makes no sense for the couple to be fed, everyone else to be fed, and then when they start getting up, that's when I eat.
That's when they need you.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
happens, because from the venue's point of view, like, I'm the help, I'm staff, so
Yeah.
of course you feed all the customers first. So, like,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's like, just seeing how the day unfolds, it actually doesn't make sense, because now I'm sitting down when they're walking around.
When they need to.
Yeah. And normally it's just a main meal. Sometimes some venues will give you like the full 3-course, or if they do like a food truck, they'll give you like a little bit of everything, which is really nice. I've had some venues that just give you microwave lasagna, which is fine.
At least it's something.
Yeah, but in the contract I say that if they don't feed me, I can leave for up to an hour for food, which I've never had to do before, because I
Yeah.
always bring like spare protein bars and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Keep your macros in line.
yeah, literally. But like the longest wedding I've done was a 16-hour day, and I never do anything that long like these days. But imagine working for 16 hours and being told, oh, you also have to bring your own lunch. Like,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Or like they don't expect. It's the same with DJing. Like I've done days where it's a 12-hour DJ set. Like music doesn't stop, period, in the whole time.
yeah,
And like it's hard. Like the when you eat topic that you were talking about. Like I also find that when the person who books us, when they're eating, it's best we eat.
yeah,
And then afterwards, because then we can get it pumping
yeah.
afterwards. But they don't want to see a DJ eating when they're finished eating. And they're like, let's
Yeah,
dance.
I
And
know.
then you're like, let me go chicken.
It makes no sense. Some venues are really good. I think it's in the inner west called Crystal Palace. It's, catered more towards Asian ceremonies.
Okay.
They serve a lot of like great Asian food.
Yeah.
They actually feed the vendors as guests are like coming into the venue. So they give you a little bit of everything. Like, it's
That's
like a
amazing.
share place. And they feed you up like before everyone even comes in, really, which is great, which is exactly what you want. Like,
That's good. So
yeah.
you're full from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't have to
that's
think about
amazing.
food. I'm not
Yeah.
looking at the canapes, going around thinking, fuck, I'm starving, I need something.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So a message to all those people planning events out there: take care of your people. You know, you want good photos and video. Man's got to eat.
Man's got to eat. Like, yeah, and even like how they treat us, how venues treat vendors goes to like whether I recommend people get married there or not.
Yeah,
and people
of
ask
course.
me, oh, well, have you heard about this venue, or do you like this? And like how I'm treated is like so important. And just getting fed is like such a basic staple. But you get some venues that the staff are particularly rude, or they feel like they don't want to be there, or
Yeah.
they treat you differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
some venues have a rule to not allow vendors to drink, which I get is a bit of a liability issue.
Yeah.
But the couples are always asking, "Oh, have you had a glass of wine?" and
Yeah,
"Have you
no,
enjoyed yourself?
definitely.
Hope you
Yeah.
enjoyed yourself." And it's like, well, sometimes I say, "Well, I tried to, but the bar wouldn't let me get a drink," and which is fine. I'm working and I'm
Yeah.
driving too, so
Yeah,
I only
okay.
have one or two glasses.
Yeah.
But just depending how the venue treats me and like the other vendors goes a long way. Like that's why I like Centennial Vineyards. That's why I mentioned them, because
Yeah,
the
okay.
coordinator there and the staff are so friendly and so nice, and like really went out of the way. Same with there's one in the Southern Highlands called Grow Wild, which is awesome. They've won a
Okay.
ton of awards too. More of the top higher end places that are in the city. I won't name them,
Yeah.
but they're like they just kind of churn weddings out. They charge top dollar. They
Okay.
give very minimal service, but they've got all the stuff you need. So like you would like them in terms of they've got the outlets, they've got the space, they've got a lot of rules around certain stuff,
Yes.
which isn't as great.
Do you find that? Do you find that venues in more CBD sort of areas have more, I guess, red tape than those a little bit further out? That might actually like take away from.
Yeah, I mean, some do,
Okay.
some don't. Like some of them will have strict noise curfews, but even in the country, they have strict noise curfews. Some in Kangaroo Valley have a 10 p.m. curfew, which
Oh,
makes no sense
wow.
because they're in the middle of nowhere. And it's an amazing venue, and I get there's farmers around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it is a small town too. But 10 p.m. That's part of the reason you go into the country, so you can keep partying a bit later, right?
That's what I would have thought.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
like
100% what I would have
yeah.
thought. Wow.
There is a lot of red tape in the city. Like you have to. I've been getting a lot more venues asking for public liability now, which is like we have as vendors.
Yes.
But yeah, and I have some venues too that they make you sign all these waivers and like all this crazy stuff. If it's a historic building, they make you acknowledge like the wear and tear that you do to the building are liable for. So
You
like
as the videographer.
yeah, and they even say like
Yeah, wow.
if you wheel anything in, like equipment or anything
Yeah.
like that, it has to be rubber wheels. It has to be certain, it has to be transported in a certain way to not damage the floor.
Yeah, okay.
And like if you leave any rubbish, then you're fined and you acknowledge that you have to pay this fee and stuff. Most of the time,
crazy.
I don't know, sometimes I kind of ignore them. I send my public liability and everything
Yeah.
because I get that.
Yeah.
But all these additional waivers and stuff, like the couple kind of takes responsibility for that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's our professional name that's on the line. Like obviously I'm not going to damage a property.
Yeah,
And
no,
I've got
no.
insurance.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
some of the things that the venues ask for is crazy. Like sometimes they ask to be sent the photos and the videos that we capture for our couple, but they ask the couple, "Oh, do we have permission to do this?" And then
Yeah, right.
they use
okay.
our photographs as marketing material,
Yeah.
and sometimes they don't credit us.
Oh,
like,
wow.
most-
So is that something you've integrated in your...
It's crazy.
like,
There's one venue at the
agreement?
moment that I've kind of had to talk to quite a lot
Really?
because they're using a software outside of Instagram to schedule their posts,
Okay.
and they're not tagging me properly in the comments
Oh, wow.
or in the description, sorry.
Yeah.
And it's like within the first day is the only time people are going to see that post and then click through. Like there's no benefit from me unless I'm credited properly, and it's easy for people to then click through
Yeah.
to check me out. And I'm just having to explain like the only thing I get out of it is marketing material,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
people may be booking me. So if you're not allowing people to click through to me, making it harder for that sort of transition into me, there's no point in me sharing
It's-
anything. And also, I have full rights for the photos. As a client, the bride and groom, they get a license to own the photos and
Yeah.
like do what they want with their photos, but they can't then just give it to other vendors. Most of the time, where it's fine to do that because we work very closely together, and it's that kind of an industry where you kind of have to help each other out. but things like tagging and giving credit for like a minimal marketing kind of help, or even proof of concept too. Like, oh, it's good that I've seen you guys have worked together before.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
like the absolute minimum of what we need.
Yeah,
Because it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
like we ask hair and makeup, oh, can you just do my hair and makeup while you're here too? Like, just so I look good.
Uh-huh.
Or like, it's not like I asked the venue if I can come back and do, you know, a portrait session there. Oh no, you've got to pay for a permit for that. Well, then,
Yeah.
you know, give me at least some slight marketing credit and maybe book a client or two.
Yeah, I get you.
And then, you know, you don't have to pay anything as well. Like, everyone wins in that way. It's
more like coming together in the industry, so that people lifting other people up, sort of thing.
It's a lot of camaraderie.
In regard, 100%. I feel the same. Like there's similar sorts of things. Like when you play at venues and stuff, it's, you know, all that tagging sort of thing even comes down to like a promotional agreement, and just ironing those things out in the beginning. Even if you just deal with, I guess, somebody who books you privately, if they do want to tag your brand, just laying the foundations of like what's acceptable and what's not sort of acceptable as well. Again, in this social media day and age, man, it's like
it's so important.
You've really got to it comes into how you every day your operations and things. So I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into a point you made a little bit earlier regarding, you said time of year in order to save money for the event. Is there anything else that you can think of in regards to it's just like a sacrifice, but they save heaps of money? Like I've seen a lot of like midweek weddings, for example, and things like
how
that.
To save money?
Yeah, in regards to like those easy wins, I guess. Like, for example, not heaps of people want to get married on a Wednesday, but if you do get married on a Wednesday, it's much cheaper, and all it means is people just take annual leave or whatever.
Yeah. So doing weekday weddings can save money. Some venues don't. Most vendors, like myself, don't give discounts because no matter if it's on a weekday or weekend, it's the same amount of work for me. And it's usually like a side business or like I'm working that day anyway. So whether I'm editing at home or shooting a wedding, it's still a work day for me. Venues are a little bit different because they're booked so far out in advance, so they want their books to fill out earlier, so they know they've got sort of revenue coming in like a year or two.
Yeah.
So it's mainly the venues that will give discounts. Some beginners might give discounts if it's a weekday, but most vendors won't give a discount for weekday. But you can save a bit of money. And yeah, weekday weddings are great because some people can't make it, so it's a good way of sort of filtering out the people that naturally
don't want to be there.
It's like destination weddings, right? There's a ton of ways to save money though. Like I had one of my friends get married and his wife wore a secondhand dress from Facebook Marketplace, and it looked stunning on her.
Wow.
It looked great. And when you think about it, like you only wear it once.
For sure.
So I get why people want like a custom dress and a long train, but you'd almost be better off renting it than getting one custom made. Like, but again, you know, women might feel differently than me because I'm not the one wearing the dress, you know.
Maybe sometimes you are.
Yeah, maybe. But you know what I mean. Like,
I know.
Like, yeah. So it's just different priorities, but you can save a lot of money by just buying a secondhand dress.
Yeah.
Suits, yeah, you can save money, but you'd almost be better off spending money and getting a good suit, like a custom fitted suit. Sometimes they're worth it. I got a custom fitted suit for my friend's wedding, and I learnt that one of my arms is longer by like an inch.
Oh, damn.
Which is weird. So I have a custom shirt that's like perfect for my arm length now.
Oh, wow.
But
there you go.
that was a surprise.
And you get to keep that.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously I get to keep that.
Yeah. No, that's amazing.
You can save money on things like wedding cake. I know wedding cakes are nice to look at, but instead of having a big 4-tier cake, you can just have like a 1-tier cake with 3 fake tiers at the bottom. So just the top one is real.
Oh, wow.
So you can have it like just for the bridal party and maybe family. I've seen like Krispy Kreme towers or cupcake towers.
Yeah, I've seen those Krispy Kreme
caramel
ones.
slices and stuff. They're becoming more popular.
Dan had I'm pretty sure it was a Krispy Kreme one. for
Oh,
his
really?
engagement. Yeah.
Damn, I
It
missed
was
it.
so young. Yeah. You missed out on that. It was
Okay.
so young. Always working, bro.
I know. I'm just so busy, man. Don't get me started. Um, what else? I mean, there's a lot of things you can save money on. The venue as well. Like the venues charge a ton, depending where you go. Like some places will charge 300 plus per person.
Mm-hmm.
And then also charge all these absolute BS fees. I once got told one of my couples had to pay $900 just to put down the projector screen and use the projector. Because they got married one day and then had the reception the next day, and the venue wanted to charge them to use the projector. And it wasn't even a good projector, and then the aspect ratio was totally off. Like, it was actually awful. I think a high school kid could have set one up better.
Wow.
And like cake cutting costs, it's crazy. If you want to save money, like I know the venue is really important, like what we've been talking about with like decorations and what's important to you. But you can save a lot of money on the venue if you DIY the venue, or if you book an Airbnb, but let them know it's a wedding, because it's important to let them know,
Okay.
not just sneak it through.
Don't hide it. Yeah.
Or if you have family that maybe have like a big farm and you can set up a marquee and stuff.
Those are amazing.
Those are really good too. But there are also some venues that are surprisingly not as expensive. Like the Opera House, for example, was cheaper than Dalton House in the city, which is a really expensive venue.
Okay.
Of course, the room isn't inside as nice, but it's so iconic at the
sure.
Opera House.
Yeah.
I was a bit surprised by that. It's still pricey, but I just expected it to, because it's the Opera House,
It
right?
is, yeah.
You expect it to be
worldwide
more.
known.
Yeah. Oh man, just like you can save money in a lot of areas, like the table decorations. No one really remembers the table decorations unless it's really unique. Like no one's going to remember the little cocktail jar that you've got on the table,
100%.
or the cookies with someone's name on it, or like the custom. I mean, there are some things that have been really cool, like succulent plants I've gotten, but I've got so many just like shot glasses and bottle openers and stuff like that. Like, unless you're going to do something that's unique and speaks close to both of you as a character, I wouldn't bother, because you can save money there.
Yeah, for sure. Funny you say that, because like I'm pretty sure it's episode 1 of the podcast. I say that exact thing in regards to the table decorations, and no one remembers. And the funny thing is, like, if you go to somebody in 10 years' time and say, "Oh, do you remember this event, or do you remember this wedding?" They're gonna bring up 2 things. They're gonna bring up, "I had an awesome time at the wedding," and have a look at this photo or video of me having an awesome time at this wedding.
100%.
So like those 2 things, like don't skimp out. Those are your things you're going to remember in 10 years from now. Everything else, if you're on a tight budget, there's wiggle room.
100%. It just comes down to like how much time you want to dedicate to saving money. Because if you want to save money, it's usually because you then have to spend time doing it. Like the flowers.
Okay. Trade-off.
Yeah, you can save so much money doing the flowers yourself. I've had a bride or several brides in the past that go to flower markets in the city very early on the day of or the day before their wedding. And then just based on what's there, they put together some bouquets for everything, get some extra ones for the table, stuff like that. And you can save so much money, but then it's dictated by what's there, what's available. And you obviously have to get up really early, and it's something, I guess you're stressing about 2 days before your wedding and the day of, putting it all together, as opposed to just
having somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways you can save money, but you then have to, there's trade-offs. Like getting friends and family to help out on the day is a big risk in terms of an MC or a celebrant.
Yeah.
It's not that they're always bad, but a lot of the ones that I've seen that haven't been, not bad, but have had a bit of a lull or aren't as exciting as they could have been, is because friends and family are involved with the wedding itself without having any experience. So getting an MC who doesn't know how important it is to keep things on track and keep the energy up.
Yes.
Like I no matter how many times I remind them, hey, give me 5 minute heads up before you start the next formalities, they just they don't, and they start drinking. I once had a bride who I told that to, and she decided to get her uncle, who was a bit sort of, he was actually very entertaining, very flamboyant, which is nice, but he drank too much and he got too confident on the microphone, and the bride actually fired him halfway through the reception, and he got really upset and just drove home.
Oh no!
And then just
drove home after having too much to drink and getting carried away.
Well, I don't know how he got home. Hoping he didn't actually drive.
Yeah, hopefully not.
I didn't think about that.
Anyway, that's outside of the scope of this.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But you can save money everywhere, even like what you're wearing, jewelry. But the venue is probably the biggest cost, I think, for a wedding.
Yeah, 100%.
So if you want to save money, you have to find somewhere to take it from, and it's about priorities.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm actually finding it more popular now to either go really all in for a wedding, so high end, or really scale it back and save money for a house or the honeymoon. So
a lot of people have been doing that as well. And like not to talk it down or anything like that, but you can still have something like smaller scale. Let's say instead of in Europe, we have some weddings which is 500 to 1,000, sometimes even more people, right?
Yeah.
And over here, like I've had some of my friends have eloped, and they have had a reception, which everyone then attends. It's about 150 people, and they have the entertainers there. They obviously have the photographers when they elope, and the other event when they have the reception. But that's also an option in regards to, at the end of the day, it's about the two people getting married, right? And even if it's a different sort of event, it's up to the people who are celebrating. It's about them. Whether there's 20 people in the room or whether there's 200 people in the room.
100%.
It's about them. And like even make the entertainment like about you as well. Well, what's your style? And oftentimes you can integrate a photographer and videographer style to the entertainer as well. Multiple times. Like that's how we work together.
Yeah.
And like there's an art form in bringing the whole thing together, in my opinion. Like even with the MC, like MCing is an art form. I see it. And
yeah, it's very easy like to see if someone is good at it or not, based on like you've seen it quite a lot, so you know if someone has just got it or not.
How they hold themselves, for sure. But like that comes with practice too, right? And it's the same thing with DJing and with photography. You never start off amazing, but just recognizing that MCing is not just, speaking in front of a room. It's about capturing, like you mentioned, capturing the audience and really, getting them to feel like that emotion of the stories that are being told and making everyone laugh, man, and just have a good time as well.
Set the mood and the vibe.
100%.
But also the coordinating too. You've got to be a bit like...
Like firm in a non-firm way. Yeah.
Firm
it's
but fun.
Firm, the two F's. Firm but fun. I like that. I'm gonna wrap this up with a final question for you, and it's a bit of a sort of curveball that you haven't,
okay.
But if there is something in the years that you've been a photographer, videographer, if there's one thing that you wish you learned earlier on that you know now, whether it's to do with, the technicalities of filming, or you wish you used to tell your clients something in the planning process, what would that be? You can take a minute to think if you need.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, there's not one thing. There's so many things. Like, give yourself more time than you need. Like, sometimes when I book through a studio and they don't really care about your schedule too much, like, they'll only allocate half an hour to take photos in the morning at prep for both the bride and the groom. I like to spend at least an hour to even 2 hours, especially with the bride in the morning. Otherwise, all those nice photos you see in the PJs and throwing the champagne and, just chilling with your girls, that's not possible. So it's giving yourself enough time. I think the importance of capturing moments with family Because you're always going to capture those moments in the sun of just you guys laughing and drinking and having champagne. But I've found more finding those emotional moments with family, like hugging grandma who's 95 years old but came on a wheelchair, is leaving straight afterwards but made it to that day.
Yeah. That's special.
It's always
that.
special. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, getting really emotional in the day. I actually, like, sometimes I cry during weddings when I'm working.
Yeah.
Just because
wow.
I get so invested in my couples.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
you can just sense that. So I make it a lot more emotional. I'm a big fan of like writing letters to each other in the morning and kind of prompting my couples in a way that make them think about their relationship and themselves and the importance of the day. But then also bouncing off the vibe that they're giving.
Yeah,
like sometimes 100%. They're getting sick of the photos and they just want to enjoy themselves. So don't make it all about me. Don't make it about the photos. The day itself is more important. So keep the mood where they want it to be. Get what I'm hired to do, some things. And then if they want to just go and drink and party, let them do that. Don't make it about yourself. Think, I remember I was backpacking around Europe once and I was speaking to a paramedic about like how she handles being an emergency paramedic, and she said she has to remember that it's not her emergency, so she has to keep it together. So it's not your wedding day, it's theirs. So it doesn't matter if you're the photographer or you're the DJ or the MC.
Very well said.
Make it about them and make their dream, your number one priority above what you need to do that day.
It's about lifting the other person up.
Yeah, and making them the center of attention and giving them what they've been dreaming about for their whole life.
I love that.
Yeah.
When I get married, I hope you're available.
Maybe I'll be getting married too.
Oh, there we go. I can't take photos and videos at your wedding though, bro. I'll do the entertainment. How's that?
That's all right. That's good.
Amazing.
That's good.
Thank you so much today for your time, Jake. I really appreciate having you on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. If you enjoyed this episode or you know anybody planning an event, please share it with them. If you're interested in DJ bookings, head to morlyfe.com.au. And if you're interested in a wedding and photographer or videographer, where should they head, Jake?
JakePascomedia.com.
Amazing. I'm Isaac. Thanks so much for tuning in to the More Life Frequency podcast. And as I always say, all the best and stuff the rest.